everyone, and welcome back to our Demo Days of Summer series. For those of you joining us for the first time, I'm Shayla Smith, an account executive at CallTowet. My role here is to keep our current accounts informed about the latest communication solutions we offer, ensuring that you're fully leveraging all of CallTowet services. In our last episode of our summer series, we're going to be showcasing Zoom phone and mobile features. I'm joined today by my colleague, Sam Barron. Sam, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hey everybody. Thanks for joining. I'm Sam Barron. I'm one of the directors here at CallTowet. I've been with the company for about 10 years actually. And today what we're going to be going into is a demo of Zoom phone and the mobile calling capabilities. So what you can expect in the demo today in the webinar presentation will be a look at the desktop application of Zoom and what you can do from a soft phone perspective. The other aspects of the application that we're going to be demoing for you today is the Zoom phone mobile application. So what you can expect utilizing the mobile experience of Zoom. Lastly, what we'll be demoing for you is the administrative portal. So how you're going to make move add changes within the system, how to add a user, remove a user, build out your call flows, really the basics of administering a phone system. If you have any questions after the webinar presentation, feel free to reach out to Shayla and myself. At this time, I'm going to pass over to Geronimo Garcia. He's one of our solutions architects. He's been at CallTowet for 20 plus years, and he's going to be running through the demonstration for you guys today. Hope you enjoy what you see.
Let's take a look at Zoom phone. So right now on my desktop, I've got the application running, and we'll do a little bit of a tour of the application, the user settings portal, and then what it looks like on a mobile device, right? So right from, I've launched Zoom. I'm at the home section, so I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit larger so folks can see. But as you can see here, I've got a couple of different sections, and I'm really going to focus on the telephony aspect here today. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on that. And so what you're going to see here are really two sections for Zoom phone. You're going to have your kind of left section here, and that's going to provide kind of your call history. So as you can see here, I've been doing a bunch of calls to myself and testing out some other numbers. But within the history, I have the ability to filter out a little bit more, so I can see any all calls, any missed calls, any summary reports, any recordings, and I can see any lines. So I'll look at missed calls, as you can see here. I don't know if I have some summary here. You will see any summaries, any kind of recordings that I have, and any lines that I have. Over to the right section, I have a voicemail that I haven't listened to. It's been there for a while. And as a user, I can see the caller ID, the date and time, the encryption type, transcription of the call with a task. So it'll listen to the call, transcribe it, and it will provide a task based off of AI reading it and saying, hey, maybe you need to call somebody. In this situation, looks like I've got to call and discuss SMS with the customer, right? And I can close that out, review that task. I can escalate and call that user back. I can play the audio file. And then I can also share the voicemail. Obviously, I can copy that number, create a contact if I don't have that user in the system. And it can be a personal contact within the Zoom directory or in my Outlook contact. Mark it as read, mark it as a follow-up, block that number, or download that number, or delete it. Pretty straightforward. In the middle portion, we're going to see the standard dial pad for Zoom phone, and this is tied to Active Directory and Outlook. So as a user, I can type the name of a user within my organization. Let's just use Cade, for example. And Cade has multiple phone numbers, and so I can call him by just clicking on his name, or I can go over to the right-hand side and I can have additional options. So it looks like I've got his extension and his direct number, but I believe I've also have him as a personal contact. So this is the personal contact. And the difference is going to be the personal contact is not going to have a status bubble where if you see it here, over here on Cade, he's going to have a little bubble. And if they're logged in, I'll be able to see their status. So this is my Zoom contact. This is my personal contact within Outlook. And I've got additional options here to call him. And then below here is the caller ID. I've got it defaulted to my direct number. If you're a member of a queue or an auto attendant receptionist, you can change that. We'll have another drop down. Or I can choose to block my caller ID. Not making an outbound call. But that is the dial pad, pretty straightforward. I'm going to go ahead and just show my cell phone to see what it looks like on a mobile device. So let me go ahead and bring that over. I'm going to minimize that and bring my cell phone over here. Right? As you can see here, I've got multiple apps, but the one I'm going to focus on today is the Zoom app. It's here on my bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going to go ahead and launch that application here. And you've got all that feature functionality that you would have with Zoom meetings, and chat, right? Just on a smaller screen. So what you're seeing here on the screen here is up here on the history. You can go ahead and tap on that on my phone. You can just have access to all the information that I showed earlier, right? Just again, in a smaller phone, I've got my call history. I can click on the all history and do the filtering. Again, and having all those options: missed calls, summary calls, recorded calls, or lines. I can click on voicemail and have access to my voicemail. I can select the voicemail, and now it's going to be playing. Let me just pause that. But I can delete the voicemail, right? I've got the information that I need, the date and time, the task below, and the transcription just below that. If I needed to call that user, I can just reply or forward. And then again, I've got the other options to share, delete the number, mark it as unread. Same feature set, just a smaller screen. So again, when somebody calls me, it's going to ring on my Zoom app, my Zoom mobile app, and also on any Zoom devices. So that would be like a Poly or Yealink running either the Zoom appliance software or the SIP supported phone. And then just over here on the right-hand side, I also have access to all my contacts, right? So I can star or favorite some users. These are my current Outlook contacts, and I can search up here by name. So I can just, again, pull up Cade, and I've got his information here. So I can just click to call. And that is the Zoom app. It's available on iOS or Android. And again, you can put that on, I believe, up to 5 to 8 devices. So again, you can have Zoom ringing on your PC, your Mac, and several tablets, right? So can't get away from work. So the next thing I'm going to show is I'm going to go back to the Zoom phone app on my desktop, and I'm going to show you a couple of cool features on how you can customize the application. So let me go ahead and take my phone out of the way. And just going back to my Zoom phone, as a user, I can go ahead and click on my profile picture and go down to settings. And that's going to open up another window. And I'm going to go right into the phone section. And it's going to show me my telephone number. If you don't know, or you just recently got a phone number and don't know what that is, just by going into the settings, you can see your phone number, what extension you have, what region. You can also hide calls, incoming calls, if you are in a Zoom meeting, almost like a do not disturb. You can have this just by default, so you don't have to be remembering to put yourself on do not disturb. You can manage the call control if you have a physical Teams device. So basically, instead of maybe you want to pick up the call from your physical phone, you can manage that here. I won't be showing that today. And then below that is your 911. So right now it's defaulting to our corporate headquarters. But if I wanted to make that change, I can go ahead and click on this personal information link. And both of these links right now will take us to your Zoom profile URL, and I'll go ahead and show where that is, but I just wanted to kind of go down a little bit further before we go there. You can turn on live transcriptioning for any calls. Great for folks that are hearing impaired, or they might have an accent that they may not quite grasp. And then really changing your default voicemail language. So right now I've got it set to English. So from here, let's say I wanted to set up or change my emergency address or maybe some call routing options. I'm going to go ahead and just click on my account online. It's going to pull up the Zoom portal for your profile. I'm going to go ahead and move this. And it may default to your profile section. Where I'm going to go is I'm going to click on phone. Right, so let's let this boot up. And I'm just going to quickly go over to the history. And this is basically going to be any CDRs that maybe you may want to report on. So I can just pull on any calls that you've had, maybe the month of May, right? And I can see and sort by name, number, or extension. I can export this to a CSV file. But I also have the ability to search for voicemails within the system. So right now I don't have any for June, but I do believe I had one in May. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick from the end of beginning of May to June. And as you can see here, I've got that voicemail. I can select it. I can mark it as unread, mark it as done, block it, delete it, right? I can play that. And again, you've got those options here on this side as well. If you have any recordings, they would show up here and you would be able to sort by and search for those recordings by name, extension number, and date. I don't have any today here to show. And then over here on the next section is the settings tab. And again, it's going to show you the same thing that you saw on the app, your the package that you have, if you don't know what package you have, the phone number, your extension. But this is where I'm going to be able to manage that E911 address. Within the app itself that I'm pulling over here, it shows you what you have. But if you were to click on this link, it's just going to take you right to where we are right now. And again, I can choose, if I'm not at this location, I can choose or create a personal address and then switch between them. Now, again, the phone or the call, if you happen to call 911, it's still going to go to the local PSAP. It's just not going to provide the right information in case you were to pass out or something to that effect. This is where you want to make sure that you have your home address or where the location that you're at selected. So that way, in case you're incapacitated, you're going to have the local emergency services come to that location. Let me pop out of the settings section. Again, you're going to have the option to change your caller ID here. So you're going to see a lot of the features that you have on the mobile are going to be on the tab. Actually, you're going to have more features on the website URL than you would on the mobile app. So you can see the region I'm at. Just below that, I've got the call handling. So think of this as your personal operating hours, right? These are your business hours. So maybe I don't want to be 24/7. I can go ahead and make a change here. I've already had that changed, but again, you can be 24/7. I can set up some custom hours, and I can again select the date and time that I want. And if I wanted to make this uniformly, right? So let's just say I want to make this change for Monday. I'm going to start supporting folks more on the East Coast. Right? I can select a specific time and then apply this to every day. It's automatically going to push this out to the other days. Click OK. That's going to make those changes. So in this section here for call handling, it's going to control how those calls are going to come into you. And so right now I've got a simultaneous. It's going to hit my Zoom desktop app on my PC or Mac. It's going to then ring my Zoom physical appliance. That will be a physical team supported phone. And then it's going to ring my mobile app on my cellular or mobile device. I can change that to sequential, kind of a find me, follow me. And I can then edit that. And I can say which application I want. So maybe I want my mobile to be the first one to be on that list. So it'll call my mobile first, then my desktop, and then my physical phone. Below that are your typical call busy, call no answer, features. So you can see here I've got calls forwarding to my voicemail. If I don't answer, I can change that to maybe play a message to disconnect, play a busy signal, which I don't think most people would want that. Or I can even forward to another extension, an external phone number, or an external contact. Same thing goes for a call not answered. So maybe you're busy and you don't want to answer the call. Again, where does it go? You can play a message, you can disconnect, forward it to an extension, an external contact, or an external number. And the last section I'll go over here is really the closed hours or after hours, right? Again, how I want to handle those calls. I can edit that, where it's going to ring. Again, this is where how that ring is going to happen. And then after hours, do I have it wait? Do I play a message? Do I send it to voicemail? Kind of the same options that I have during business hours. And then lastly, I'll hit up on holiday hours. This is where you can set up your holiday hours. I've got some vacation coming up next week, and I've just kind of named it, set up the date and time for the date. And it's going to start off at 12 o'clock midnight and end at 12 o'clock midnight the next day or the week that Friday. I can hit save. Again, right now I don't have any devices because I don't want to be called on vacation. But if I wanted to, I can say, hey, let's add a cell phone number here. If you didn't want it running on an app, maybe you don't have good data connection, you can always put your cell phone number here and use cellular connection. And then below this is just your greeting, right? I can set up a greeting. There's a couple of ways to do that. I can choose an asset, basically a pre-recorded call, or I can add audio and download that. And I also have the ability to use text to speech. So I can give it a name, a category, a language, and if I don't have time to create a call, I can put the text to speech and add that information in. And that's a high-level view of the Zoom application and Zoom phone on how it runs on a PC or mobile device.
You enjoyed this demo day session for Zoom, phone, and mobile. If you have any specific questions for Sam, Geronimo, or myself following the demo, please feel free to reach out.